Hi, Barry at GotAUkulele.com with another instrument review. Another one redressing the balance of the expensive to the ultra cheap ukuleles. People who don't read my blog often enough assume that I am really down on cheap ukuleles. People who read my blog regularly will know that that's not true. Have a look at the reviews page. There are some really good ones out there. What I do say though is that there are some real howlers at the cheap end, and you're running the risk of getting a bad one with some irreversible problems. This one, the Tiger, sometimes branded as the beginner soprano, also the Uke7 model, retail of about £28 in the UK, but you can find them online and places like Amazon for about £20, so ultra cheap. Fairly standard looking double bout soprano. It's an all laminate instrument made in China, surprise surprise. And you know what though, as cheap instruments go, it's quite nicely finished. It's finished in this sort of poly plastic coat of yellow paint. I'm not going to be able to show you on the camera, but it's actually got a bit of a glitter to it, maybe a bit of a glitter sparkle to it. What I often find it with ukuleles at this price point is that the finish can be really ropey, bubbly, patchy, pooling. This isn't. This is nice and smooth all over. I can't find any flaws with it at all. It's not really my cup of tea. I wouldn't play a bright coloured instrument like this, but there you go. For an absolute beginner or a child, this is very popular, like the Mahalos. So as I say, double bout, completely flat back, all laminate construction. Importantly, not overly thick laminate. I'm going to try and show you the edge of the sound hole. It's not the thinnest laminate I've ever seen. It's also not the thickest. That should help with some of the volume projection. We've got a rosewood tie bar style bridge with a plastic uncompensated saddle. The only other decoration on the instrument is this transfer sound hole rosette, which is under the gloss, so it shouldn't wear off. Looking inside, really basic construction, no bracing, unnotched kerfing. Can't really show you that, but it has got a tail block to allow a strap button to be safely fitted, and it's pretty neat and tidy. No glue spots and mess really. The neck, fairly standard soprano scale in terms of the length, the width, and the profile. It's also coated in this yellow poly, but it's nice and smooth. It's not sticky. Topping that is a rosewood fingerboard, which is in pretty good nick. We got outward-facing pearloid markers at the 5th, 7th, and 10th fret spaces, none on the side for the player, and they are 12 nickel silver frets to the body. There are no sharp fret edges, and it's quite nicely finished, although I don't know if I can show you this either. Probably not. Some of the fret edges are kind of blowing and cracking the gloss on the edge, which is a bit messy. We've got a plastic nut which looks removable, which is nice to see, so you could change the nut if you wanted to change the strings gauge. We've got a fairly simple crown-shaped headstock, cheap looking Tiger screen printed logo. The tuners, fairly generic open geared tuners, but nice to see that they've got small black buttons, not massive big ears like you often see on cheap ones, and they're pretty decent quality actually. They've got chrome bushings on the front, unlike the white plastic ones on things like the Mahalo Dolphin. And all of that comes with a little zippy gig bag, Aquila strings, and as I say, about 20 quid. Quite a lot of this review is going to do some comparison with the Mahalo Dolphin. The reason for that is that's an instrument that I've been pretty positive about, because I think it is one of those rare instruments at 20 quid that actually isn't monumentally bad. How does the Tiger stack up? Well, volume wise, first of all, because it's not overly thick, it's pretty light. It's nicely balanced at the 12th. No complaints, not neck heavy, not body heavy, just a nice little instrument. I've got a Mahalo Dolphin here. It may not be in tune. It's covered in food and fingerprints that only a 6-year-old could apply because it belongs to my daughter. Projection wise, I think it's actually got a bit more punch than the Dolphin. Here's the Tiger. And the Dolphin. Yeah, the Dolphin is certainly quieter. But where I think it loses out to the Dolphin is the Dolphin's got this kind of rounder, a warmer kind of sound to it. The Tiger, I think, is overly bright and quite boxy and thin. A little bit out of tune there, setup not quite perfect. The intonation is very slightly off, but I find that very common for a £20 instrument as well. But actually the action at the saddle and the nut, I really wouldn't adjust. So I think it's just more of a construction flaw. Picked, I think it really, sounds very thin. I'm not going to be too hard on it. It's a 20 quid instrument. It certainly falls in the category of those 20 quid instruments that don't monumentally suck. If you bought one of these, there is no shame in that at all. They are far better than a lot of the other generic Chinese rubbish that's on the market. I think it's far better than the brightly coloured Mahalos. It's not quite up there with the Mahalo Dolphin, but it's really not far behind. If you're buying a child a first instrument, I think I'd probably still go with this one as a recommendation if you don't want to spend a lot of money. But these are widely available. The way it's put together, I'm really impressed with. The neck's nice, the finish is nice, it's nicely balanced, it's not overly thick. It just falls down a little bit on the. It's not a complex tone, but it's a 20 quid instrument, The Tiger Uke7 Beginner's Soprano, not at all bad, not the best ukulele in the world, obviously, but equally, if you're in the market for one of those brightly coloured 20 quid ones and you're looking at a Mahalo, get one of these instead, or a Mahalo Dolphin. Hope that helps. More instrument reviews coming very soon on GotAUkulele.com. Stay tuned to the website and this ukulele channel.